howdy guys, welcome back to the city. I'm Imperial Jedi. Thanks for stopping by for another episode. Really do appreciate that, actually. And this one, it's going to be geared totally towards trains. So you train enthusiasts, you're definitely in the right spot. I didn't really do a whole heck of a lot of off-camera building between last episode and this one. I remember I was saying I was going to. All I did was put in some of the starter tracks and just a couple train stations, and just to kind of save a little bit of time. I didn't want to spend too much time just doing, redundant stuff here. So I'll kind of go over my thought process as to why I did things the way I did, and, this and that, right? But the entire episode geared totally towards trains, so hopefully I can answer any questions you guys might have. I'll be definitely giving you, hopefully, a lot of suggestions. And if you guys have, like, tons of, questions or comments or anything, like, feel free to use the comment section. I'll definitely answer as much as I can. I hopefully I know a little bit about trains. I'm kind of a train nut, so hopefully I can help you guys out. All right, so for starters, what I've gone ahead and done is I put in a train station up here and a train station over here. So now we've got the makings of an internal line. Like, obviously I haven't, done a whole heck of a lot just yet. But my logic behind what we're doing here is trains, they come in from the region. They're going to visit this train station right here. It's the only one we have connected to the region. And we have it on a bypass. And all of this is in the name of traffic, because if you guys will notice when you play at home, the region has a tendency to spawn quite a lot of trains. So I try to cut back in general on how many train stations we have connected to the region, because each one has the ability to spawn and have trains kind of, use it as a terminal point, or, kind of like make their own lines type thing. So to cut back on that, what I do is I'll have maybe only 1 or 2 train stations for the region in my entire city. But wherever they are, I'll have transfer points. So we're going to make ourselves an internal train network here, so we can draw lines on these, and we don't have to worry about regional traffic kind of clogging them up. So people come off here, they go underneath if they want. If they want to go a very long distance in the city, that's basically what the trains are for. Like trains in general, you should probably have the time back up there. So trains, you want to have the most amount of spacing in between your stations, just in terms of like public transit in general, and don't have train stations too close together. I mean, when you think about it in real life, a train, it kind of takes time to kind of get to speed. They hold quite a few people, so it's not overly efficient for them to keep stopping, say, every 2 or 3 blocks to kind of let people on or off or something like that, right? So your trains, you'd have them say like, 1 on each island, maybe 2 on each island, train stations, that kind of stuff. The idea though is if you want to go a far, like long distance, you would use the train. And then wherever you have your train stations, that's where you should have like a little metro hub, or you should have like, buses kind of swing on by. So you're taking the train to go the long way, and then where you get out, that's when you switch over. So we're trying to basically get that done right now. And the reason why we're starting with the trains is you can kind of see it's pretty tricky to get some of the rails in place. So I have a tendency to leave myself a little bit of space in between the highways, maybe along the coast as well. I won't really do too much, just so that I can, maybe put in some express lanes if we want to double the highways up, or if we want to get like, trains or metros in. We already have a little bit of space, and we're not doing a whole heck of a lot of damage to the surrounding areas. So I have gone ahead and put in some of those tracks I was talking about. You guys can probably see those now. I did kind of point out the stations. And building this interchange, holy smokes, pretty complicated stuff. I think it looks kind of cool. And so the idea, I haven't even finished it yet, so got some more work to do. But the idea was just to get people, just kind of moving on through, making train traffic as efficient as possible. But yeah, this is pretty cool. So we're keeping our, again, region separate from the internal. The internal line, we're going to have some express routes, but the idea is you want to just have, pretty good spacing in between the stations. And I was going to put another station up here. And when I do my stations, I'll put them on a bypass, just so that they're on a separate track. And I think what I'm going to do over here, because I can't continue along straight because of the way this avenue is set up, I'm actually going to take this out, and maybe we can sneak a train station somewhere in the middle right here, and then have the train tracks come back up, and then maybe go to the coast or something, because we're going to run into issues there with the hospital and that baseball diamond. Okay, so let's jump into this. Kind of show you guys what my thoughts for doing some of these. So this will just continue along straight through. That is totally no problem. We are going to build ourselves a bypass that comes down and serves one of the soon-to-be stations right here. And the reason why we're doing the bypass is anybody that isn't going to the station doesn't now have to wait for anyone that is stopping at the station. So let's say the train in front of you, you're like, right on its butt, you guys are going on the same speed kind of thing. It's got to stop for the station, let, passengers in and out. If you're an express train and you're going right on by, that's pretty inefficient. Kind of defeats the point of being express if you got to wait for everybody in front of you. So what do you do if you're the express train? You take the bypass and you just go right on by. Okay, so let's connect this up with a little bit of symmetry, hopefully, somewhere. And I'm going to turn off those pillars again. Pesky pillars, always getting in the way of things. That's okay, though. We love them. We need them. And I swear I'll get this eventually. Too far. Can I win by maybe backing that up slightly? Hopefully. And if we put the pillars back on... I don't like to do stretches of no pillars that are like a little bit too long, because that looks a little bit unrealistic, I think. Okay, so we're going to get rid of these trees that are poking through as a result of that anarchy right there. Okay, so we got our train kind of continuing on through. This fun junction right here will get you anywhere, any direction in the city. Okay, so let's put a train station down. And some of these I've downloaded have, like this one, for example, has a subway station attached to it already. And I can't get it to work on that road just because underneath the road needs to be a little bit more flat because of the terraforming, because of the subway. So that's not going to work. So we're going to switch to a different one. So that was wishful thinking. But, oh, and you know what the real issue is? Of course, it's these little side roads. Of course. There you go, there's your culprit. So perhaps we can still use the subway station that is attached to that train station. Yes, we can. Okay. So let's put that over here, because we need enough room to still make a comfortable looking slope without everything being too out of control here. So let's put that like that. Okay. Now, when you're doing your bypasses, you want to make sure that you have enough room on this adjacent track to support at least one train waiting. And what I mean by that is if there's a train right now in the station, and let's say like this was connected right there, there wouldn't be enough room on this bypass for another train to wait. It would be waiting with its butt hanging out over here, and then defeats the whole point of having this as an express kind of bypass option. So instead what we do is we have this sneak out, make this go in segments. Hopefully I can get this to cooperate. Everything always seems easier in my mind. And there we go. We'll have that go like this. This breaks away. And I kind of wish that was not, that little slope right there. Sorry guys. These kind of things, they drive me ever so slightly crazy. And it's like, when I'm taking screenshots later, it's like when I see it, I'm like, oh, you son of a gun. Why didn't you just spend that extra 2 minutes to do it back in the, back when you built it? So here I am spending the 2 minutes now to do it. So hope you guys don't mind. Just these little things, they just kind of go, I think, a really long way in the city. Just in terms of like adding realism, like that kind of stuff. See how much cleaner that looks? Love it. So when trains are going through, that'll just be a lot nicer. So in general, I try not to make my curves too sharp, my angles too steep, anything like that, because it doesn't look nice for starters. And then the other flip side of that coin is your trains will go very slowly through those interchanges and junctions and like slopes and stuff, and that's not really efficient in the grand scheme. So you're adding an extra 10 or 20 minutes to your train commute time just from doing all these crazy slopes and everything, then no one's going to take the train. They'll still drive. Because the goal of this is you want to be faster than taking your car. Otherwise, you won't even bother with public transit. So something just to kind of keep in mind. Okay, so let's do this in stages. And 12 length is the maximum length you can go to get a nice smooth rail segment. And that goes for the roads and everything else as well. If I go less than 12 units, I find that the slope looks a little bit steep. And if I go more than 12 units, you just can't really achieve what you're after. And you'll kind of know what I mean when you try that out for yourself. Okay, so that's the bypass right there. And you can kind of see it's a little bit long, so we can accommodate more than one train. That's totally no problem at all. It really just, there's nothing set in stone about how long it needs to be. Just minimum length should be to have at least one train kind of hanging out. All right, so that is that part done. That works for me. So now what we can do is we can have ourselves a line that goes down And we can have one that goes in here and then one that eventually goes like that, just to kind of mix things up a little bit. So let me just kind of show you again over here, right? So we have our train station, same kind of idea, right? The bypass really long just accommodates, and what's kind of cool here is I kind of mixed it up, right? Just to kind of make this area look a little bit neater, I think. And then over here, there's enough space in between so that, you know, like 1 or 2 trains can go through. No one's got to wait for anybody. I'm gonna get some of these trees that are clipping through, get rid of those. And then same thing over here, extra long bypass, make your way on over. And then within the interchange, these might be a little bit short, but really there's no one, like you really shouldn't be waiting for anyone else, right? Interesting to note though, because of how sharp this is, you can't go here and turn left. That was intentional to stop trains from being silly and for some reason going that way. So those kind of things also trying to keep an eye on. All right, well, as far as lines go, maybe we can just put one in now just to get things going, right? So if we wanted to, we could have a line start here, go over here, and go over here, and then just make our way back. Super, 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 super simple. And then if we want to, we can make this a custom color. Maybe we can make this a nice, handsome, kind of dark purpley blue. Why not, right? Maybe even more purple in there. There, that's nice, kind of, just a hint of purple, right? It's a nice color. There we go. So when we turn the speed on, we'll now notice that dark blue trains will spawn from here. And you'll hear a whole bunch of buildings level up because all of these buildings, offices, and everything are going to benefit from having public transit come in. New customers, new workers, that kind of stuff. So your citizens are crazy for public transit, so make sure you include lots of it in your city. This is kind of cool, though. Put on 3 speed to let these guys do their own thing. And because I have custom trains downloaded, we'll see others that are not blue. In case you guys are wondering what in the heck is going on with this Amtrak thing right here, right? But there, so far so good. We have our internal little train line that's already started. This is pretty cool. And it should spawn only as much trains as you kind of need. If you find there's too many, you can turn down the budget slider for your trains, but I think we should be okay with that. And now what we want, this is when things get a little bit hectic. You don't want to have too many lines going on once, right? So we're going to go from here to here to here and back. And this is getting a little bit crowded, so I probably wouldn't do too many more on this. If I were to do one, I would maybe do from, say, here to the next island, and that will bypass these, and that could be kind of the makings of the express route. Because that's also extraordinarily counterproductive if you go through all the efforts of making an internal line, but then you just clog it up with trains of your own, right? So that's kind of the same color, not even close. Colorblind test, right? Can you even tell there's a difference? All right, there we go, getting there now. Beautiful. Beautiful. Perfect. Okay, so now these are the same kind of uniform color. We'll watch these guys do their own thing, but now we've got the first of many, maybe not many because we don't want too many, conversion points. So regional train traffic, all these people right now coming in from the region can get off and get onto another train and go deeper into the city. And when we go through the effort of wiring up all the you know, trams and buses through here, anyone also coming in from the region can just, you know, hop on a bus or a tram and you know, visit this area here. This is pretty cool. So it's functional, it's working. I'm loving it. Let's add to it. Let's keep it going. And you can kind of see again, like the idea is just to have pretty decent spacing in between the stops. These ones arguably could be a little bit close, like I was saying before, but that's just because of the highway. So we will need a little bit of train action kind of coming over here. As the city grows and we do start adding more and more stops on, what we'll do is we'll delete our line, and then we'll just maybe, you know, keep in mind that one goes this way. And then every time we add on a new station, we'll delete the line, just keep on, you know, keep on going that way. You don't want to keep creating new lines over top of your existing ones, because literally everything will come to a like screeching halt. So you'll just have like 400,000 trains here, and you're going to be like, what am I doing wrong? So just kind of keep an eye on that. Okay, now over on this side, what I thought we could do was something a little bit different. So I've already got this, I'm going to pause the game just because the trains are going to be disrupted just from doing this. I'm going to do something interesting here. So we're going to have this break away like that. In a perfect world, that would go in at level, but I'm not going to back up that whole... Nah, it's a lot of effort. Too much effort. Maybe terraform. I don't know. I'm debating. Let's do it. Let's do it. I just want this to be a little bit smoother right here. Just for the sake of the old trains coming in. Okay. Not a whole heck of a lot. You can see just a little bit, right? And we can always smooth that out once we are done. Okay, maybe even make that a 3, just so it kind of looks like it's still slightly a bridge. Yeah, that's not so bad. The slope's kind of a little bit all over the place, so I'm going to get rid of this last little bit and have this go to ground level, and I think that's going to solve what we're after. Yep, that's exactly it. Okay, so for the sheer sake of symmetry, you can see this is coming in at the wrong angle. I drew this in to kind of fix that problem. I'm actually going to back that up before the river, and when we buy the next tile over, we'll do the same thing over here, just kind of change the slope a little bit. But what I want is something that's actually in line with this one. And I went through the effort already of just making sure, you know, these kind of went. And that's how I did it, just drew a road underneath. So we'll do the same thing again. And at this point, I actually don't think it really matters where the other part's going to be. So this we can even continue like this then. Oh, okay. Oh gosh. Oh boy. What in the heck have you just done right there? No, no, no. Well, pay for effort, but not quite. Okay, so let's go up to 3. Goodness gracious me. And then let's go to 12. There we go. Not the worst. That could have been a smoother slope. I think this may actually be a, maybe it's a 6 even. I don't think we have to go that high. And then if we go across on the river, that should be enough, perhaps? Yes, but the other side is a lot lower, so we're going to have to make up for that fact. So just super, super quickly, bring that up to, say, maybe a 15? Yes. As a matter of fact, indeed, yes. So just super temporary. Like, temporary. I know it looks hideous, but very temporary. So what I wanted to do over here was maybe take advantage of the fact that there is a little bit of a dip right here. And we could have another regional train station over here, but this one could be a terminal endpoint. So we actually don't have to have as many trains kind of coming through. So we'll go like this. Hopefully get lucky with one of the roads kind of sneaking through. And in instances, if you're not using mods, when this stuff does happen, draw your roads in first. Super simple. And we're going to put both of those ones in, so we want both of those to go through. And then, like I said, super simple. Just, like, literally complete this. But now we're kind of telling the pillars where we want them to go. It looks like something has gone horribly awry right here, and I believe the issue is the fact that we are sloping down. So we're going to have to keep an eye on that. So we can go eyeball level right here. So 24 looks good to me. And that can just smooth in right there. That's perfect. And now we fix the pillars, got the height right. Excellent. And what I'm going to do here is have a one-way. It doesn't have to be a one-way. I'm going to make it a one-way, though. It doesn't have to be one. In fact, let's not do a one-way. Let's do it this. I'll have that come across. Is that enough? 14 units is plenty. And I'm worried now. I might be a little bit close, but I would like to have another train station right here. I think we're okay for spacing. And so that, like I said, is going to be an end point. So we're going to have it end right here. It's not going to come back up. I'm going to use a different station. So we just use that elsewhere. That one looks kind of a little bit too big. So it has to be one of the skinny ones. Oh, goodness. Ooh, excellent. Okay, so train station in place. I think I'm actually going to go with that one is skinnier. I need that extra little bit of room for when we're doing the, the bridge up. Perfect, that works for me. Nice little tiny rural station. I think that kind of suits the mood right here. Okay. Rural station in the middle of a non-rural spot. Works for me, right? Okay, so we're going to have to stagger the height up here. I'm going to do it over a really long distance, just so it kind of looks a little bit nicer. And then we're going to come just over like that. That works for me. Now, the way that that kind of goes down, that looks a little bit odd to me, I think. So maybe we can change that approach. There we go. Just delete that, put it back in. And we're going to do the same thing, I think, over here as well. Just try and get a little bit of a cleaner looking... Nah, it didn't quite do it. Sometimes the game will intuitively make it a little nicer looking one, but in this case, it did not. Okay, so we're going to go to 12 to 3 and then up again. That's not the end of the world. It just doesn't look all that nice. And you know what? Maybe, I mean, even though I said it was a nice little vibe, I'm not 100% on that station. I think I want something that looks a little bit different. For those of you at home who didn't like that one too, you're just like, yes, maybe we'll use this one again. Okay. That is that connected. As a bonus, this looks a little bit nicer anyway, so that is that. And if we wanted to, just to maybe jazz up the area next to the train stations, maybe we can put a parking lot or two in, just something like that. Like, not every single train station or anything has to have a transit hub next to it, but don't feel like you're, like, you know, if you really want to, you totally can. If the area supports it, like you can have a couple buses, you know, sneak through here. You can do something like this to kind of support the area. So, like, bus lane, for example, can kind of come in. So just break away like that, right? Oops, let me just do this. So if this is bus lane, this is two-way traffic right here. That's two-way traffic. And then if you want, just for fun, there, so just a couple buses can now sneak through here, pick up passengers. Just, I mean, it's a little bit more, you know, it's a little bit more unique. You can have bus stops on any one of these little roads. We're not really interfering too much with traffic. We can even have a tram. You can see kind of sneak on through here. It's only a block or so away, so people would have no problem walking that. But this right here could be theoretically another transfer point. So if we wanted to, we could have on the other side a train station, just kind of do the same old general thing here, but maybe make like a smaller version of one of the transit hubs, just so each island has, you know, some more options just for transit or whatever. Okay, so let's try and do something similar over here, because why the heck not, right? Okay, so you can kind of see, I mean, really just the transit hubs, I mean, everything's just kind of tied together. And then we do the trains first because it's easy to get those out of the way. They're pretty big. And then you can kind of build the road and the city around them. And you can kind of see, now we know where we want our bus and our trams to kind of loop around, that kind of stuff. And we have room still for a little metro station. You know, it really, everything just kind of falls into place kind of nicely. It's one thing after another, which I kind of like. Okay, so we need something that's a little bit close, right? So what actually we need to do first, sorry, before I get too carried away, is we need to continue this just along. And if you want that pillar on pillar kind of look, just follow and just drop your road where your rail where the previous one was. And I almost forgot that we're gonna have to deal with that height again. So let's go up to 24. Oh, maybe we don't have to. Maybe you can kind of see that the terrain it's a little bit different on each side. So that should maybe be a 21, whereas I think over here is a 24. And that should look, oh yeah, that's not bad. Can't quite get the pillar the same there, but that's also not an issue. It does look like we're not getting the same kind of height, because we're not getting those little bridgey kind of overpassy thingy. The trestle things on it. That's really no issue though. Okay, so this will just kind of continue along. Like, we really don't have a an endpoint in mind for this just yet. It will kind of continue over as the city expands, but because we're doing a station here, let's just kind of put that in first, I think, I guess. Alright. Now, I'm not going to use the same station. I keep using these ones, but they work wonderfully, so why not again? Has a subway station already attached to it, so it's a pretty big bonus. And then all we would need is just a way for the pedestrians to kind of walk across. So a little tunnel or something, that totally works. And there might maybe be enough room to come up over here. There may be. I think so. Looks like it. We can win. Yeah, we got it. Okay, so we want to go up. And we want this just to sneak on over and connect right here. Okie dokie. I mean, that's not, I mean, it's a little steep. A little bit steep. So what we could do is move this up here. It's a little bit off symmetrical in terms of where the other one is. Not the end of the world. We just don't want to be too far away, because then in terms of the metro, people might not want to walk this far. So what we might end up doing is having another metro station here. And that one possibly could connect to a different line. And then as your city grows, like this gets speak here. As your city grows, this is basically for a little bit more of an advanced kind of thought or user or whatever. But you can have multiple internal lines that don't necessarily have to sets of tracks, so that don't have to connect to one another. Like there really is just like the sky is the limit with this game. Okay, so let's go up and just kind of end this off. I may need to tunnel or something. You know what? I might figure that out or do some off-camera building. Same with this. I might just figure this out off-camera. We'll see how that goes. So the idea though is now we can put in, if we want to, another line just to kind of get things moving. And so these, like I was saying, we will delete them and expand on them once the city grows. So from like here to here, for example, that's a pretty short line. But when we add, say, one more station on each one, it's a little bit longer. So you keep on doing that. Same with this. And we'll eventually get to a point where we're going to have to consolidate the trains and maybe make things a little bit more efficient. Because you'll just notice that you're going to get to a point where there's just too much train traffic happening. And then you may have to get a little bit creative with how your lines kind of overlap and that kind of stuff. And you might maybe need like bypass lines for bypass lines. So just, be fair warned. That's basically my thing right there. That's a little bit too much purple. I think that's maybe it right there. You'll double check. That's kind of the same. Sort of, kind of. That's better. Okay. That is that. All right, so now we have the makings of an internal train line. Not bad. I think mission accomplished. All right, guys, so that's basically it right there. Hopefully this was helpful. I know I didn't do a whole heck of a lot in terms of building trains. You can kind of see, even just like in 30 minutes right here, really just trains are very time consuming. So plan for that as well, right? This is kind of cool though. So now we got regional trains. They come in, they drop off their people. They switch over to here. We gotta beef up that little area over there. I might do that kind of stuff off camera, right? But pretty darn cool. And then vice versa, anyone coming in by train can switch over to the region. And then as we add more and more types of transit here, it's just things become more and more efficient. And then you might notice again that there's just a little bit too many trains. What we're gonna do is build a pretty efficient metro line, and that should cut down on how many trains we actually need. So kind of everything, again, just kind of one thing helps another. Everyone's on the same kind of team. So not too bad. So we'll have to, beef this up, add a little bit more, but just so you guys can kind of see the general idea of what we're doing, right? Building maybe a smaller version of transit hub, get people moving, get them out of their cars. In terms of like this, if we don't end up adding another train station, maybe we would use metro lines or buses or trams just to get people over to this train station, get them to switch over to here, get them into a tram over on this side and just kind of moving around. And the goal is to make it just more efficient than if you were to drive and just be stuck in gridlock traffic all day. I want to make public transit seem very appealing. So hopefully this helps. I know this may not have been 100% what you guys were after, but I did try to vary this a little bit. So if you guys have any questions, I'll definitely do some follow-up episodes too, just based on the questions. I'll answer them as much as I can too. And if you guys want to cruise through the comment section, maybe answer some other questions, just for like different perspectives. Because again, like, there's not really a set, nothing's set in stone, right? Like everyone has kind of their own take on doing this. I was just hoping to give you guys some, inspiration or something kind of fun to do. All right, well, that's basically it, guys. Hopefully this helps, and until the next one, I will see you then. Happy building in your own cities, and stay tuned. Follow episodes, we'll be doing trams and buses, as well as subways and metros kind of thing. And then the bigger picture, we'll also be doing some more just like, general growing of the city and this and that. So we'll keep the city going. I want to double up on our industrial space. In the long run, do like an airport, cargo hub, that kind of stuff. So stay tuned. We'll be doing a lot of fun stuff over here. All right, guys, all the best, and look forward to reading the comments. Okay, take care of yourselves.